What's up, everybody? Welcome to House Divided here on Orange Bloods Live on I don't know what day it is, Wednesday, Thursday. It is Wednesday, I believe. I am Jeff Ketchum. I do know that Hastings, although it says Ketch on his name, I don't know. It could just be a confusing thing. Chat. We love it when you chat with us. Love it when you super chat. So do all of those things. Mr. Hastings, it's always easy whenever the Longhorns get a commitment. The show just gets to be a little bit easy because, we can just talk commitments and kind of what it means. And people love that recruiting stuff. So today feels like an easy day for you and I to do a show.
Yeah, and earlier today when Jason and I are doing the recruiting hour, we kind of said, it's funny, we set it up around a theme of offensive linemen. The plan was already to talk about a group of O-linemen. This guy, Max Wright, was going to be one of them. And then before the show actually starts, he ends up being a commit, so he goes right to the top of the list. And I can't wait to get your thoughts on him. I know Longhorn fans are always trying to figure out just how good, just how excited should they be and all this. We're in the 2026 class, of course, with this discussion. So, and it's starting to build up. This is only the third, I think, commitment right now in this 26 class. But for you, I'm really interested to hear what you think of him and how good you think Max Wright is to start this O-line group for 26.
Well, it's funny. I definitely have a definitive, opinion outside of, he committed today. And I want to say it was this weekend. It might have been on just Instagram or something like that. It was either Instagram or Twitter or something. But I had social media going on in the background. And this kid's page had been added because of the recent Junior Day. So I was just kind of going maybe my Instagram live or whatever was just kind of popping up on the screen. Regardless, he popped up and I just remember thinking, holy crap, he's huge. He's the big guy. On a feed where there's a lot of big guys and it's maybe necessarily hard to just jump out. He kind of just jumped out more so than most guys where just seeing him made me go, wow, he's big. So that's kind of my first impression of him was just, he's a big dude. Big enough that I expect him to be, guys to be big. I don't expect me to necessarily stop and comment on how big they are. So he made me stop and comment on how big they are. I think he's a good player. I don't think he is a stop the presses, we got this guy type of player. It's funny. You talked about that you and Sukumel were going to talk about offensive linemen regardless. You were going to talk about other offensive linemen first and foremost. And I think this is a class that's got a couple of offensive linemen that Texas absolutely wants that are kind of 1A and 1B on the target list. When you think about John Turntine III and Felix Ojo, two guys that just on their own you could make a case are the most important guys in this recruiting class. We'll call them 1A and 1B, but they're both offensive linemen. They're both tackles. This kid's a tackle. I tend to look at him more along the lines of he's a really good player that's not going to scare the other guys. And I think that that's a big part of this class is making sure that you make a real run at Turntine and Ojo and you don't do anything to mess that up. And I don't think that that's what happened here, but I also don't think that in getting a commitment from Wright today that you've got a national level prospect on the level of those other two in-state players.
Gotcha. Okay. So by the time one of the discussions we had today about, say, Turntine and Ojo was by the time all the rankings are done, would they both have a 5-star possibly by their name? And I think that could very well be a yes for at least one, maybe both. What about Max Wright? When it's all said and done and all the rankings are in, how high ranked a guy is he for you? In theory.
Rivals has him as a national. I think Rivals has him ranked the highest of anybody nationally right now at 125. I want to say they've got him 18th in the state. I have him at 32nd in the state. I think he's a Rivals or national top 150 to 200, 250 kind of a guy. I think he's really good. I don't think he's elite of the elite. So if I don't think he's elite of the elite, nothing else really matters. I think he's a guy with a lot of upside. You worry that he's almost a little too big. You kind of want him to stop growing because he is every bit of 6'8", so it seems. And you don't need him getting any taller. How he fills out will be interesting from here. Those 6'8" guys don't just all pan out. It is you get to be at a certain point where you're too tall, you're too big. I don't think he's there, but he doesn't need to get any taller, and he will get bigger. He's going to end up being a monster, and then it's a matter of does that monster translate to being a elite level football player. I don't think he's got elite quickness, and I don't think he's an elite power guy. When he gets his pads on someone else, when he's pad on pads, he's a really good player, but he blocks to the whistle and he gets guys on the ground, but he's not like a holy crap kind of a guy. He doesn't make you do that. Gotcha. But he's really good. I think he's really good. I don't see any one thing that I think is elite, but everything I see is really good.
Okay, let me jump in here, Catch. We've had a couple people mention your video. Let's have you reset. I'm going to pay a couple bills. Let's get a full reset here because I want to get your full thoughts on things. So we'll have Catch get things reset. While we're doing that, we'll thank a couple of our great partners. And one of them is the good folks at AV Consultations. It was the day to play it anyway. And now this will help us to figure out what's going on with Catch. AV Consultations can make sure your setup and your hookup is terrific, maybe even better than what Catch has got going on right now. Check them out.
Hi, this is Tom McKay, owner of Audiovisual Consultations. We've been providing custom electronic systems for Central Texas for more than 36 years. And
old man, I think they all know who you are and what your company does. This is Camilla McKay. The old man believes in big fun and big ideas. He can make dreams come true, so why not dream big? I've been up in Boston, but I know the old man and all his friends and fellow radio heads have been spreading the holiday spirit here in Texas. Why should we stop there? Keep spreading the good feelings all over. Audiovisual Consultations carries all major brands of televisions and stereo equipment at prices you can't find in stores. And you don't have to leave your house. Just like Santa, they deliver the gifts to you.
Yeah, I like that, kid. Throw a party, hang out with your friends, catch a concert.
That's all fun and good, but can we get back to the business? You can give us a call at 512-255-8678 or visit our website at avconsultations.com for some cool electronics.
Oh, now you're forgetting something.
And as always, hug your kids. We only pretend to be annoyed. Watch some games with.
All right. Cross your fingers. Mr. Ketchum, you're back. Talk to us. Oh, no. No? Tell me you're messing with me. Tell me you're miming. Nah, I don't think he's miming.
I hope I'm back you now. I just see two empty screens.
See you. Yeah, I see you. I saw you. I asked a question, and then everything just,
I don't know what's going on.
It is so weird. I feel like the audio was. It's trying to catch up. I can tell it's working. I can tell it's working at it and trying to get it done. So you keep giving us some thoughts on Max Wright. We'll keep an eye on it. I think it's good enough to at least try to battle through a little bit here.
Are you sure?
You're like, it's like a 3-second delay is what I'm seeing here. Something like that. 2 to 3 second delay. However.
All right, one more time. I'm going to come back out.
Yeah, honestly, here's what. Oh, all right. Try one more time. We'll try one more time. While he's doing that, we will also give a shout out to our main sponsor, Texas Card House. And remember, they've got online poker for you with Hijack Poker. If you haven't checked this out yet, you need to go to scan the QR code and you can put it on any device is where I was headed there. Go to hijackpoker.com. You can put it on any device, play online poker. You can deposit and cash out at the 6 Texas Card House locations. This is for online poker players in the state of Texas. So get it done, and you may end up with a cool, bag of money like my man over there in the cowboy hat's got. So check them out. Shout out to TCH. Hit TCH Social Austin if you have not done that, if you're in the Austin area or any of the great locations. All right, let's give it a try. One more time. Jeff
I
Ketchum.
think this is going to be better.
Yeah, you already look better.
I don't want to get into the technical mumbo jumbo of it all, but let's just say that if I explained it to you, it would frustrate you. Just like if you can look at the frustration in my eyeballs right now, you'll know that the explanation is every bit as stupid as the look on my face.
Gotcha. As long as as long as the message is about to improve, that's all we care about. So you were in the middle of a thought about Max Wright, the new Texas commit in 2026. So yeah, we'll pick up there.
Look, I think he's a good player. I don't think that there's any one thing about him other than I think he's massive. He's just a big kid. And I was talking about that you worry about him maybe being too big. You're almost at a point now where you're like, stop growing, young man, and just grow into the body that you have. Like no more you getting tall. You're tall enough. I think he's really good at the point of attack, but I don't think he's elite. I don't watch his power game and just think, oh my God, like he's not that kind of a guy. And he's not going to wow you with his athleticism. And yet he's a good athlete. He does, it feels like everything really good to very good, but maybe nothing great. But man, those are the guys, honestly, sometimes when they hit, you go, oh, I should have seen it. Like there wasn't any one thing about his game that you thought wasn't good enough. And then sometimes when they don't hit, you'll look at it and you'll go, God, you know what? Sometimes you kind of get caught in between a couple of those different places, but I think he's really good. It's funny. He often reminds me of guys that I liked a lot that didn't make it, because there really are more. Start talking about 6'8" guys, 6'8", 3+. So many of those guys that the laundry list of names that pop into your head is endless. So, he's on kind of a shorter list.
Well, just to jump in there real quick on the height catch. When I saw that, I've heard you talk about it before. There's certain things in sports that height to me, whether it's quarterback in the NFL or whatever, where you go, well, you can be too tall to do it. What's the height? What is the height somebody has to say to you for badass tackle in high school where you go, whoa, I'm not sure? Like, what's the number that or
honestly, I want them to stop at 6'7". Okay. I don't want them taller than that.
So hearing 6'8" or more gets you to at least a little bit of a blinking light on, okay, got to pay attention, got to watch that. Got to see what he's like.
I mean, you're starting to get to a point where the number of guys that have made it at that size and height, you can count on one hand. Gotcha. And so, you don't want to be the statistical anomaly where it's like, oh, and then someone is like, well, I told you he could do it. No, did you? Because one guy on earth has previously done it. You're at those type of statistical odds where it just really becomes unlikely. So he's there. Like I said, I wouldn't want him to grow anymore. You're good, young man. Stop.
Right.
And
which is totally controllable. We all know that. When you're a junior and senior in high school, kids, it's a good one for just yell stop as loud as you can into the mirror, and you will not grow anymore. That's a fact.
It's like Michael Scott declaring bankruptcy. You just have to speak it into existence.
Medical fact. Just you do like this. Both hands, clench fists, and scream stop. You're good.
But I will say, you can watch this guy and see what Kyle Flood likes in it. The guy, he's really big. It's not hard to imagine. Okay, well he gets a little stronger. He gets, he kind of harnesses his bigness. You can close your eyes and imagine this behemoth just being a monster, and so like you can see it. It's just that more times than not, you can see it more than you see it happen. You close your eyes and imagine it happening because, it's not hard to imagine this guy looking like the freaking Undertaker, but it all coming together in a working functional football package is sometimes easier said than done. And that's kind of what I think with him. But, look, this is going to be an offensive line class that's got 4 or 5 guys in it. He'd probably be one of your 4th or 5th guys if they get the guys that they want. And this is be a really nice foundation piece to have as maybe the 4th or 5th offensive lineman in this group if they hit the players that they want to hit. And I think that they're the favorites to land at this point.
Good news, Catch. Now they say both of us sound bad. So I don't even know. To me, we both look fine and sound fine. And they're telling us that it seems like it's bad. So I don't know. We'll see.
I don't know what to do. I've gone in and out, in and out, in and out. I feel like Michael Scott, snip, snap, snip, snap.
And you know what? I'm going to just pretend. I'm just going to take Matt as the word. Matt says it's fine. Matt says it's good. Blake also says it's good. So, hey, we're going to take it. We'll take that for what it is. I've double checked my microphone that I'm on the right mic and everything. So I think we're good. So at some point, some people are saying it's fine. We're going to assume people are saying it's good. We're going to assume it's great and wonderful. All right. So big story of the day is that Max Wright is the next commitment for the Longhorns in 2026.
Honestly, Chad, one of the first things I thought was because Turntine and Ojo are guys that you do shows about, and sometimes you hear some of these other names, and you wonder, okay, well, who's the guy that they put next to the guy? So hearing that he committed kind of answered one of the questions of, okay, well, now we know who they would want next to Ojo or Turntine. That those guys are so obvious that you just kind of, they have their spots. You want them in the class. So it was really, because you're at the time of the year where there's so many names and they do make so many offers that you do kind of wonder who they prioritize over some of the other names. And I think that this gives you an answer. It's like, oh, okay. Well, they took his commitment. And I don't think they'll automatically take the commitments of every guy that they offer. So this is clearly a guy they wanted in this recruiting class. And I think that's what stands out to me. It's like, okay, of all the names, we know who have spots reserved. So who outside of those spots did they really want? And I think this ends up being the answer to that question. And it is almost like the biggest endorsement that you can give him. Because they're not doing anything to muck it up with the big dogs. Those guys just have their spots. So you have less room to play with than you might think when you say, well, they're going to take 4 or 5 guys. No, they've got maybe 2 or 3 spots because those other spots are just taken and they're reserved until they're no longer reserved or they're filled. So, you have fewer spots and that this guy falls into that spot first. I can just tell you Kyle Flood likes him a lot. Now, why does Kyle Flood like him? I think that's real easy to pinpoint. He has qualities that
Large
are
human.
Kyle Flood-ish in big, big ways.
Large human, big ways. Very good. Well done. By the way, if you have not checked out the 321 article from Jason Sucamel at orangebloods.com, there's a lot of offensive line talk, including which of these guys have already set official visits to Texas in June. And when it comes to Max Wright, right now that is June 20th. So not only is he was already kind of set to do that, now he becomes a commit today. So obviously that is a big deal as well. So be looking for June 20th as well as June 13th. Also, I think maybe June 6th a little bit as well, but June 13th and the 20th kind of setting up as some big recruiting weekends. Real quick.
He's commit.
I'm sorry, Catch. I was just going to thank the people for working hard on their end, because apparently people are like restarting the app and saying everything's fine once they do that. Eric is saying, okay, I'm good. It's good. Just restart the app. People, thank y'all for working hard to watch the show.
So it's good when we can blame it on everybody else.
Yeah. Well, I don't know if it is good when that can happen. But
it's y'all's fault.
If we can't look at ourselves, we won't fix anything. So Eric and the rest, thank y'all for checking it out and, making extra clicks and going extra mile for us to make sure you're checking it out. All right, Catch. So anything else Max Wright specific that we need to hit before we move on to anything else?
No, I'm never going to do that thing where I overhype a guy up. I think you're talking about a guy that he's class of 2026, and he's probably a 2 or 3 year developmental guy. So we're talking 2028-ish before I think you would start to really expect this guy to be competing for a spot on the 2 deep or a starting offensive line job. If he hits his ceiling, he's got a chance to be a multi-year starter. The math says more likely than not that won't be the case. So, this is a guy that you're going to have patience with. When it hits, it's Tyler Gooseby. And it's like, oh my God, that happened fast. And he's real. You know what I mean? Like when it hits, you can feel real good about the way he profiles. I think, this is just one that you're going to have a little patience with and know it's going to take some time. This is one probably people can forget about for a while because he's a high school junior, about to be a senior. And then when he comes in, he's probably going to need a few years. So I say 2028, we're at the very beginning of 2025. Everybody can relax a little bit. This one's going to take a bit. This one's got some time.
Yeah. All right, I do have a question for you in terms of O-line, a little bit of a bigger picture question. But since you just told everybody to, take their time and chill out, I also have a question for you, Catch. Since you're wearing the Muppet shirt today, which Muppet do you...
I did not mean to go like second time in a week, so apologies.
Which Muppet do you think would be the best Rogue Shop customer, and which Muppet needs Rogue Shop the most?
Now, that's a great question. I mean, I always feel like Animal needs it the most, and that everybody else in the band has it the requisite amount. That makes sense. In general, Piggy could use more pot. Yeah, I think Miss Piggy, Rogue Shop, she's a little high strung. That anxiety kicks in. Sometimes you just need Piggy to chill out a little bit, and it's why we send her a Rogue Shop. She's like, "Oh, Kermie, let me see what's at the Rogue Shop, so that I don't have anxiety issues or yell at you when you're doing Kermie things." It's as simple as that. Just scan that QR code.
I've never been more glad that I asked a question in my life. I was not thinking of her at all, but like Piggy Needs Gummies is a whole nother level, and Miss Piggy
she's
balanced out on Rogue Shop. That would be awesome. Like a really mellow Piggy would be awesome.
Piggy's always wanting to karate chop people. You know,
yeah, she got anger problems.
It's just one big like, hi-ya! You know, she's constantly wanting to chop people, and it's like, no, Piggy, calm down. Like they're our friends. Those are our neighbors. Don't hi-ya them. So yeah.
Don't hi-ya your neighbors. That's just a general rule of don't
hi-ya.
And I agree with Uncle Mickey from the great country of Canada. Let animal be animal. Yeah, animal. I don't know if anything helps animal. Animal's just animal. If anything, animals just needs to get off of the coke. I think that I always thought it was coke with animal. That's just he's a musician. You know, it's easy to get backstage. He's a drummer. Not much you can do there. Not much you can do. Oh, now here, I haven't thought of this one. Cotton says Snuffleupagus Gonzo needs it too. Snuffleupagus does not need Rogue Shop. Snuffy is fine. Snuffy was, he walked in mellow.
No, like he's good. The last thing Snuffleupagus needs is pot.
Yeah, no.
Hey, bird. I need something.
Yeah. Now, Oscar might be interesting. You give Oscar the Grouch a couple of gummies. Now we're talking. Now we could mellow out Sesame Street a lot if we just calmed him down. Where were we?
I don't even know where we were. What was the question?
I don't know.
What happened?
No. Yes, we were talking about the offensive line situation, and you told people that's kind of calmed down because it'd be maybe a while before, Max Wright would be really impactful.
Is that what we were talking about?
That is what we were talking about. But I got a bigger. Let me get the big question out because it involves Max and this whole group. As we're here at the beginning of 2026 in terms of the collection of talent, this will get talked about a ton. I think it's the first time I've asked you, how many offensive linemen are you feeling for this class? Because I'm just sensing there's a lot of discussion here, and it doesn't feel like it's a discussion about, hey, Texas needs 2, and then they'll be done. Like, what's the number for you for, like, O-linemen that they're going to stack up?
Like 4 or 5.
Okay.
A lot kind of depends on they've been stockpiling offensive linemen, and they're not really scheduled to lose a lot from this group. Like, the only senior offensive lineman that they have in this upcoming class is Cole Hudson and DJ Campbell. You get to redshirt freshmen, and then if you go sophomores and then redshirt freshmen and freshmen, there's a lot of guys all of a sudden. They've got just at tackle, they've got 4 sophomores and Brandon Baker, Andre Kojo, Trevor Gooseby, Jaden Chapman. At some point, that group's got to thin out a little bit. Who's going to play? Who's not going to play? I kind of feel like that way about almost the entire offensive line. Other than Gooseby, it feels like you don't know with anybody that they did a real good job of developing that 2022 group, Chad, that had all the guys that have been playing for the last few years. But it doesn't feel like they've really developed anybody since then other than Gooseby. And so I expect it'll take 4 or 5 because I do think at some point some of the losers of these battles are going to leave in the portal. And so they'll be as much the guys that need to be replaced as the actual outgoing seniors.
All right, Catch. I think there's another thing here somebody's throwing in the chat that we can I think we can get to. First off, just real quick, rock drums. Yeah, Grover on Sesame Street. That's an interesting idea for Rogue Shop because Super Grover would sound like Shaft if you just get the right amount of Rogue Shop in him. I think that could be good. By the way, Catch, sometimes you have those moments, those crossroads moments where you think, okay, I know I'm happily married, but like I thought I married somebody slightly different. My wife had no idea who Super Grover was. No clue. I said Super Grover to her the other night, and she's like, "What? Who?" And I'm like,
to be fair, what elicited Super Grover? How did that just get said in a sentence?
There's a little, my wife she has a couple of these little soft kind of toy pillow things, and they're characters. The kids on the bus give them to her. The little elementary school kids will give them to her on the bus. And she's got one like in the bed. It's just it sits kind of between us in the bed. And I picked it up and I shook it a second, and it reminded me of Grover. It had real thin arms and it just looked insane. And I thought, oh, it kind of looks like Super Grover. And then I made it fly across the sky, and she said, "Who's Super Grover?" And I'm like, what do you mean? Anyway, I have no idea. But I digress. Sorry. We do have another topic.
Yes, you do, Chad. You do.
Yes, I do. We have a topic that people, I think, want to talk about. Before we get to it, let's thank Specs. Over 500 of you in the Specs chat right now. And if you love wine, Specs has something for you. Pay attention.
With hundreds of wines on sale, Specs is turning these aisles into the ultimate love story.
Uncork something special during Specs' huge wine sale going on now. Specs, the fun starts here.
When I see those Spec spots, they're fantastic. They're fantastic.
Uncork it, man. Uncork it.
Uncork some goodness at Specs. That's what you need to do. Catch, I don't know how serious a conversation this is, but I feel like fans are kind of talking about it. Vivek says, did we already discuss about the potential for the spring game being canceled? I'm just going to blame like Matt Rule for all of this because he said something, but we are here on February the 5th. And I think because the full like spring schedule is not out yet, I don't know, maybe fan bases are starting to get a little nervous about spring games, but they're not going to, it's not like they're going to get rid of the spring game, are they?
I feel like they won't. I feel like they won't at Nebraska. Honestly, this feels like the kind of thing that a coach does that he knows he's going to get attention for. It is. It's walking into a room and passing gas and then watching the room react to the gas and then, feigning surprise that the room had a reaction. Oh my God, I cannot believe it. Who would dare do such a thing? Grab those, clutch those pearls. He knew what he was doing when he said this. It's gotten the reaction that he wants, which is enough of a reaction that people just go, should we stop? Is all this too much? Because I don't know what he wants. What does he actually want to happen? What will stop the spring game from being canceled? Because that wasn't discussed. Yeah. So he's not going to cancel the spring game.
Does he need a written statement from all the teams in the Big Ten and SEC other than his that they will not watch his spring game?
To me, when I first heard this, that's what it came across. To me, this came across as a little bit of a guilty conscience talking out loud, where he's like, all these schools are – because there's a part of me that I keep reading about Nebraska wanting more – they are not stopping at 85. Nebraska may go up to 105. There's no rule that says we can't. All the new rule is we can't have more than 105, including walk-ons. There's no rule that says we can't just have 105 scholarships. Like, they're pushing it. And I think that when I heard that, I just thought, okay, well, Nebraska's pushing the buttons. They want to see how far they can go. This spoken like a coach that knows how far he's willing to go, that he's kind of projecting a little bit here. He doesn't want other schools to see his roster and potentially poach it. Why? Because you're going to be at other spring games, potentially poaching rosters. Like, that's how I took it. I think everybody can calm down, but it's not a crazy discussion. I will say this, when you talk it out, I can at least intellectually understand why you would shut it down. I can at least intellectually go, well, you really don't want people looking at your talent if all things are equal. I can also intellectually shoot it down pretty fast. But I kind of get where he's coming from. This is about power and control. And these coaches don't have it. And one way that they could have just a little bit of it is, well, we just won't have a spring game. And you guys won't have that platform that if you look really, really good, maybe somebody will have an interest in you. We just won't let you have that. And that's what that's about ultimately. Surprise, a head college coach wants more of it.
Yeah. Now, Catch, I'm just honestly, I have not followed the specific story today. I'm seeing headlines that would lead us to believe he's already canceled it. Has Nebraska canceled their spring game?
I've just said he's kind of hemmed and hawed around it. I have not seen the headline that says Nebraska cancels. I've just seen him say it's on the table, kind of a thing.
That's weird. Yeah, I see this. Cornhusker Wire. Nebraska coach Matt Rule reveals reason for no spring game in 2025. But that's different than saying they've decided not to have it. Him giving a reason not to have it is one thing. Vivek, it's an interesting discussion. I would agree with Matt with the arch hype. No way they'd cancel it. And then Vivek, I guess, back in saying other Texas sites are saying Texas might cancel its spring game, similar to Nebraska.
Well, and I'm sure that like it's an idea that once somebody has it, I'm guessing somebody will copy it. The thing is, what are you really accomplishing here? What are you accomplishing? The goal of your players not being seen? Is that what players want? They don't. Texas, your players are going to be coveted. I don't know what to tell coaches about, if you want good players, okay, then they're hard to hide. So I don't know.
Yeah,
I get it.
Yeah,
I do get it.
I'm not sure what the lot. Yeah, I mean, to me, you're practicing anyway. If you want to make it they've gone more and more sometimes to just a fancier practice. Don't keep score, all those type of things. But in this day and age, you're going to tell networks, you're going to tell not networks, you're going to tell ESPN/SEC network, you're going to tell them there's no spring games. Like, I don't know. I mean, we are in an age, Catch, where now we're doing Manning brother versus Manning brother dodgeball and falling into foam pits instead of a Pro Bowl. So, but we all know what that's about. I haven't heard anybody say the spring game is hurting too many players. That's not what Matt Rule's saying.
No, and the spring games is about an event. It's about, hey man, it's boring otherwise in the middle of the off season. So let's get together, have a little bit of a jam session. We'll put some plays on the field. We're not going to show anybody anything that unique can be.
Yeah.
We know you're not getting the game plan for September,
but it gives you a nice wrap up of spring. That's the way
it's supposed to be for the fans.
Yeah, that's the way I've always looked at it. Wrap up spring, show the fans kind of what you've been working on. Not what you've been working on, but, show the fans a little taste of what they're going to get in September or late August in this case.
This is just about power and trying to take just a little bit of power away from the players. Well, how will you do that? We won't let them be seen on television. Okay, gotcha. Oh, nice job, Matt. You really showed the players and the agents. Nice job there.
See,
good job.
Catch. The only way I would slightly disagree with you there, for months, I've been telling the Dallas Mavericks they needed to get Luka off television because somebody was going to come after him, and it just too late. And then too late just happened. I can't.
No, you're wrong. Because the Lakers did not come after him. The Mavericks went after the Lakers.
Yeah, you're right. No, you're right. I don't know how long that heartbreak's going to last for me, Catch, but all these jokes around the league are not helping. Like, they're interviewing.
Well, you're making the jokes up. See, that's the thing now. You're at that stage, and this isn't your fault. I am not blaming the victim, Chad, but you are officially in the stage where now you become self-deprecating guy when we all know that you're just hating for the sake of hating. You know, there's self-deprecating guy that when you hear it, you're just like, oh, that guy's funny. And then then there's self-deprecating guy where you're like, oh, that guy's just in pain right now.
Yeah.
And that's what Mavericks fans
are.
I
was just trying to find a way to get to the sadness, and I just did a real clumsy version of it. But it's just been the weirdest, like, because now I've gone through I didn't watch the full press conference or anything, but I saw highlights of Luka and highlights of it, and then just the interviews around the league, the Anthony Davis stuff, the comments from other stars, like Anthony Edwards are joking about maybe getting traded. Hey, don't trade me, Mr. GM. And then your guy last night, did you catch Embiid's moment last night?
No.
He got asked a question specifically about his performance last night. Hey, Joel, you've talked about getting off to a good start, and at times you haven't this year, but boy, you really did tonight. Did you really sense a difference about the beginning of the game? Something like that. And he said, I was just afraid to maybe get traded. And then he just laughed and said, no, I'm just kidding. And I'm like, oh my God, it just dug my heart out. Anyway, I'm so sorry. And to Sark after dark, there's no need. There's no need for such feelings. There's no need for that. Congrats on the trade you guys made. All right. So sorry to detour there. Didn't mean for that. But I guess we just keep our eyes.
You just have feelings that you're still sorting.
Oh, definitely.
I want to let you know that I acknowledge that, and I'm here to allow you to have that space.
Yeah, there is nothing. I can't come up with anything to directly compare it to, man. It's a crazy, still trying to process that one. And in terms of this spring game thing, I guess it's just, I mean, you tell me, Catch, timeline wise, by February 5th, do we normally have the spring schedule? Like, is that normally out by now? Or is it more like Valentine's Day? We'll find out. Hey, by the way, spring practice starts on March 3rd or whatever. And the spring game is April, whatever. Isn't it more middle of the month?
There have been times where they don't release that stuff at all. And it's like, well, look, spring football starts on March 3rd. And then they don't really release the schedule all the time. There are times when they do, but then there are times when they don't. It's like, well, they're going to go 2 weeks on, and then they'll take spring break off, and then they'll come back and finish. Like, sometimes that's all the information that they give. And, you know, you end up getting like a calendar from like someone on the team. It's like, okay, well, here's their tentative practice schedule. But oftentimes the spring's it's not like the NFL where a month out, you're looking at a calendar and thinking to yourself, okay, well, they've got back-to-backs here on this date, and then a 3-day, like, it just doesn't exactly work that way.
All right. If y'all want to throw in a chat, we will get to it, even if it's about the Spurs or the Rockets. We'll get to a super chat if it's about the Spurs or the Rockets. Over 550 folks in that Specs chat right now. We got buy or sell coming up here before we wrap up. Also, let's talk about another one of our great partners, and it is one of my favorites. It is Sinus and Snoring Specialist. Here's a little exercise for you at some point. Just you're by yourself, alone. Can you breathe in through your nose really slowly for about, 7 to 10 seconds? Then hold it for about 3 or 4 seconds, and then slowly let it out all through your nose for another 5-6 seconds. If you can't, it's something you may want to get looked at. I used to not be able to do it because I was all clogged up. 85%. Yes, that percentage. That's what Dr. Slaughter told me the very first time he met me. He showed me with this cool little camera that he helped develop. And that's what they got. That's part of what they fixed for me. And like Dr. Slaughter will tell you, if that's all clogged up, nothing else is going to matter. You got to get that taken care of first. That's one of the great things about sinus and snoring specialists. They're going to do things. If there are multiple things that need to be done, they're going to do them in the right order to make sure you get the maximum benefit. Make sure they're doing what they need to. 601-0303 or sinussnoringent.com. They got rid of my allergies and my sleep apnea and the issues I was having back in 2017, and I've felt wonderful ever since. Sinus and snoring specialists. Tell them you heard about it on Orange Bloods Live, or just mention my name and tell them that I told you to do weird breathing exercises. That'll stand out. Sinus and snoring specialists. Feel clear, rested, and healthy. All right. We are rolling through a Wednesday. The Longhorns added a commit in the 2026 class. By the way, Catch, you know how different college sports is nowadays? Today's signing day. Did you realize that? Today is signing day. At least it used to be.
Well, because the state of Texas has basically the only kid in the country that hadn't committed like Ty Haywood, that finally happened. That was the one, right?
Ty Haywood, the badass Denton Ryan, if I'm not mistaken, offensive lineman, decides Michigan is his place. Big get for the Wolverines. That's huge.
And that's definitely a Michigan has NIL money now, because he wasn't even looking at Michigan. And then Michigan found in it for that guy when, for a long time, it just felt like an A&M or OU or Alabama kind of a deal. And in the end, he ends up going to Michigan. All NIL, all newfound power that they have. Telling you, man, everybody in the country is just wishing that their university had a woman, a very affluent woman who just loved college football so much.
Yeah.
That her sugar daddy or whatever was like, "Oh, you love football? Oh, well, I have a which team you like, your college team? I got this." Like everybody wants one of those.
Dude, that's a special kind of woman right there. That is a certain special kind of woman. It doesn't mean she doesn't want cars and jewelry and houses. She probably already has that. So it's just she's to the point now where it's like, what do you really want? Badass left tackle. What? Like you want to date? No. I want my football team to have a badass left tackle. So
I just can't imagine. Nothing could make a woman sexier than you're God. Like, do you see that woman in those leather pants? You're like, yeah. You're like, you realize they're in the playoffs because of her.
Yeah.
She cares so much that I would be like, oh my God, that's a super woman.
The guy would tell you the story. He's like, okay, so here's how it started. I'm laying in bed. I'm watching the news, about to go to bed. She comes in nothing but these thigh-high boots that she knows I love. That is all she's wearing. She saunters up to the side of the bed, then pulls out this iPad and shows me the huddle video of Ty Haywood. That's how it happened. It was the sexiest highlight package I have ever watched in my life. And we just sat there and we watched the highlight package, and I said, yeah, we got to go get him. And then we went to bed. That's how it happened.
Yeah, it's just not fair that one school would have that and someone else wouldn't.
That's not right. That is not right. Not right. Also, Catch, I'm sorry now that I mentioned it, because people are going to be throwing chats in about it. Luka never wanted to be traded. I don't want this next one. What is this, Catch? The guy bought a $15 million home the week before. That's rough. Matt, that can't be true. Don't tell me stuff like that. Don't make me
Luka wanted to stay forever, and the Mavs ran him out of town.
Don't make me more upset than I already am. It's just awful. It is awful. This Matt says nothing but a Michigan helmet. It's a classic. It's a classic look. You cannot beat it. You cannot beat it. Oh my God. All right, we got buy or sell coming up in mere moments. Before that, though, I have been trying, as I've been telling you, to get the group to Hayes City Store. I'm still working on it, and the goal date is right after Valentine's Day. So I sent my wife an extra message today, like, honey, if we're going to do this, might want to get that reservation done pretty quick because, it's Valentine's Day and people are going to head out and, making their plans. It's Valentine's weekend. Look, I have no idea if anybody's doing Valentine's stuff at Hayes City Store, but I'm just trying to get there. I'm trying to get to here. I'm trying to get to the Ice House with our friends and us, and then we'll go hit Wimberley. It's such a great time out in Driftwood, FM 150. Make sure you're not in a hurry. You're not going to want to be in a hurry because it's some of the best food and drink you've ever had. You're going to want to take your time. You're going to want to get caught up. You're going to want to take pictures of the food and send it to your friends. It's amazing. Start with the home run dip and work your way around the menu. You cannot go wrong out at Hayes City Store. Tell Travis, Tamara, and the crew we said hello here at Orange Bloods Live. It is a good time out there. I will let y'all know if I make it out there on February 15th.
It just reminds me of the time that I went to Lone Star Cafe on Valentine's Day and got broken up with at Lone Star Cafe.
Dude, it's just here's the thing though, Catch. Every time you tell that story, it's a sad story. I mean, don't get me wrong. That's the worst. It's a horrible way to break up with somebody. How dare she do it? But if you can't share corn nuggets at Lone Star Cafe with someone and act like a civilized human.
It was her favorite restaurant. I did that for her.
Dude, and there is something sexy about a woman who loves Lone Star Cafe. My wife loves Lone Star Cafe. It's one of my favorite things about my wife. But you got to be able to be a civilized person and know you can't dump someone while you're having Lone Star Cafe.
Oh, man, the whole restaurant was looking at me like I was the man because I just had one sweet thing after another occurring at the table.
That's terrible, man.
I'm getting that whole, like you just know when the restaurant's looking at you and all the women are like, oh.
Yeah.
I was getting a lot of awes.
You're getting credit, and then guys are looking at you like they're mad at you because you're upstaging them. Like you were hitting it.
And then I paid the price for that, Chad. That's exactly what happened.
God. And for her to sense that moment and think, well, I'm just going to torpedo the whole thing right now.
I mean, she did.
That's cold-blooded.
She stood up, said that she had to break up with me and had to get out of there and stormed out in front of everybody.
Golly.
Just left me there.
That's awful. That's just awful. Yeah, that's not good. Not good. Don't do that, kids.
It was not my favorite moment, Chad.
No. And I'm a big believer in, depending on the relationship, sometimes it does need to happen face-to-face. But have enough respect not to do it in the middle of a restaurant. Right? Even if she did it when you dropped her off, it's way better than middle of the restaurant. Wait till the night is over. She could have even said, right as she's about to close the door, she could have said, we need to talk, and then just close the door and hit you up the next day, and it would have been better than what she actually did.
I mean, honestly,
come on.
I'm dropping her off, and she could have been roses are red, violets are blue. You bought me a bunch of shit. Now get the hell on out of here. That is better than what I got.
Yeah. I've got a soulmate out there, but it sure ain't you. I mean, it could have happened. That could have happened. It would have been much better. Much better. Real quick here, a couple chats. Mark says he's with me. I'm punching air on this trade. Yes, Mark, I am. In fact, here's the latest thing I had. The anger I felt, Catch, When they showed Luka walking across the floor to sit down on the Lakers bench, he just had the logo right here, just on the breast, and I got pissed off. I could feel my blood pressure going up, and then I realized, oh, crap. He's going to put that jersey on. Even if I'm not watching the game, I'm going to see a highlight of him in a 77 Lakers jersey. And it's going to drive me nuts.
You never get to see him in a Mavericks jersey ever again.
Yeah, it's going to drive me crazy. And that's the other thing I thought of, Catch. Forget about me for a sec. I'm 50 years old. I can handle. I'm a full-grown person. Catch, can you imagine a 9-year-old or an 11-year-old in Dallas right now? Little boy, little girl. Hopefully they've got like rich parents who buy season tickets. They go to games. They might have even met Luka. They are 77 to the core. And their parents had to wake them up at some point, or they're ready to go to school and they have to say, hey, Blake, we need to talk. Yes, mommy. What is it? Are we going to have hot dogs tonight for dinner? No, it's something a little more serious than that. The Mavericks traded Luka. And he flips out. Like, Catch, can you imagine being 10, 8, 9, 10, when you and I were like first getting into the Cowboys and they just like, I don't know, trade Tony Dorsett? Just gone.
Look. Oof. Here's my message to them kids, okay?
All right.
Fuck them kids.
What?
Yeah.
Who are you, the GM of the Mavericks?
Part of life. Welcome to life, kids.
We can't wait to learn that part of life. Nico Harrison's got to teach that lesson to them when they're 10.
Better to learn it now than later.
You're the one. What are you walking into like birthday parties and slapping cake out of their hands? Boom! Life ain't fair. Come on, man. I'm telling you, he's 8. He's 8 and he loves Luka. Have you seen those videos where people will try to explain to their kids about sports or when a team loses and they start crying and stuff? These kids
that's what sports are for, to teach you at 8 what to cry on, what you cry, what you don't cry on.
Did you see those two dudes show up with a coffin to the arena?
Let me tell you what I didn't have when I was 10 years old.
Oh, my God.
Anybody to swoop in and make the Cowboys' losses better. Oh, Phil Pozderac is holding a bunch?
Oh. Hey, it's bad enough, Catch. We're going through this as Dallas folk.
Well, that's how I was when that happened.
You didn't need to go. What's that? PP? Phil. Yeah, you didn't need to go PP on us. That's PP in the worst way. Terrible.
Nobody was there to save me when he was responsible for Danny White's leg getting broken.
That's game action, Catch. That's game action.
Nobody stepped in and said, Jeff, look away. Lawrence Taylor is coming.
No, that's different. That's totally different. Come on. Anthony Davis said he was about to watch a movie with his wife. They were about to sit down and crush the Demi Moore movie, or maybe he was going to watch Wicked with her or something, whatever. And then he gets a call and he's like, wait, what? Huh? And if you notice how many people are making April 1st jokes, that's the other thing I hate about it. Everybody's got him. Luka said it. I wanted it April 1st, but no.
Can you imagine being the general manager and everybody's referring to the trade that you just made as the April Fool's Day joke?
Right. Exactly. And then everybody that knows the ESPN guy, what's his name? Shams Charania, who's, trying to build his way to be the new Woj. If that had been Woj, everybody would have been like, oh my God, Woj bomb of all time. They would have trusted him like that. This dude didn't get trusted by his peers.
No, he did. No, Shams has the juice.
No, he has the juice, but I saw multiple people interviewed and they said the first thing I did was text him and make sure he didn't get hacked. So no, they thought he had gotten hacked is what I meant. Not that they thought it was, but they thought fake account. They couldn't believe it. Ramona Shelburne, who's been covering LA forever, she's like, oh yeah, I reached out to him immediately and said, hey man, were you hacked? Is that real? It's the first thing she thought. That's how bad it is.
I was Shams's first interview.
Is that right?
Yep.
First ever with when you were with Yahoo?
Yep.
That's
and
awesome.
then we were his first ever, and then we were his first like regular bit, like once a week kind of a thing.
Yeah.
He was still a student at Syracuse at the time.
Is that right? He's really good. He's really good. Good looking dude too. I never knew. I always heard the name. I never did know what he looked like until this thing came out. I hate that I know now because of this Luka trade. But
Way back in the day.
look at that. He breaks news now. You broke him then.
It's exactly what happened.
You broke him to the world. Yep. Barb's 10 threw us a super chat catch for $5. Luka drops 30 and 9 on the regular, 25 on a bad night, and the Mavs said, nah, too much bad beat bacon, fam. Give me hot tub Anthony Davis. Oh my God. Yeah. Thank you for that $5.
And it really is like when you play, and I know you don't play fantasy football, Chad, and I've given it up.
Mm-hmm.
But it really is like when you do play and you play seriously, you spend your whole life trying to find a trade that you like, that someone will make with you. Because you always want somebody's player. And it's like, Chad, what will it take for you to give me Saquon Barkley? You have Saquon Barkley over here, right? And I have something that I'm going to give you. What?
That was, Yep. This year in my wife's fantasy league catch, somebody realized she had Mike Evans early on, and man, they tried everything they could do to get Mike Evans away from my wife's team.
And I'll give you like my, and it's always like some backhanded shady deal. Never does someone come up and go, Chad, I have a deal for you. What if you give me, and they like, and you're like, okay, well, what do you, and I'm going to give you Saquon. What? No. This is the deal. You're going to give me Mark Andrews and like Tony Pollard. And I'm going to give you Saquon. You almost feel guilty. It's like someone's punking me. This can't be right.
I love that you put Tony Pollard in that trade. That was well done. Well played. That was well played. All right, Catch. I saw a little sketchiness as you were talking there. Let's get buy or sell done while we have the chance. Would you like to go first or second today?
I'll go second today.
Second today. All right, then. We will start here, Catch, to the second thing we talked about. Buy or sell number one. Sark can get rid of the spring game, but only after Arch is gone.
Sell. Come on. Let us have our spring games. What else are we going to watch and bitch about in real time about how something is free is as terrible as that is? That's what we do. Yeah. They give it to us. We complain about how awful it is. It ends, and then we bitch for a little bit. Like, you can't take that away from us.
Yeah, I agree. That's a good call. Love a spring game. Got to have a little taste of football in spring. All right, Catch, buy or sell. Number two, Rivals says Felix Ojo is slightly better than John Turntine. You disagree?
I mean, buy right now, I do. They're both like I have them both ranked as high 4 stars that could be 5 stars when it's all said and done. Mm-hmm. I do have Turntine ranked ahead of Ojo, but I have them ranked the same. Right now, I have Turntine slightly in front of Ojo, but I'm open to the idea that could be wrong.
All right.
It's certainly possible.
Enough. Cats, let's go to Sunday. Buy or sell number 3. You still look forward to Super Bowl commercials.
Buy, but it feels like I'm kind of alone in that.
Maybe
like,
less.
I don't feel like anybody. I don't know that my wife, who almost certainly be the only person watching, I don't have plans. We don't have plans. Do you have plans?
We are doing the same thing we've done the last few years, which is we invite like one person over, and that's about it. It's a very small group.
Does that count as plans?
I mean, yeah. when you invite, hey, when you invite Sherry over and she brings food that's been specially thought up and prepared, and sometimes a bottle of wine, and yeah.
Okay, well, we don't have plans.
Okay.
And I'm jealous of your plans. But like it's nice to have somebody that you can even talk about. And I don't have Heather's not gonna ask me what my favorite commercial's been or anything like that.
Yeah.
So I will, but it's not quite the same.
The only thing I have working in my favor is I will have a couple women in the room that will pay attention. My wife still watches, right? My wife still will react if she sees a new, Matthew McConaughey Uber Eats commercial, or if there's new Doritos or something, she'll stop it, or she'll say it out loud.
New Matthew McConaughey commercials where he's getting soaking wet and they make him kind of look like a buffoon.
Oh, right, the one with the AI app thing. That one's not bad because he's done a lot of stuff for that company before. That's the first one where they've made him look like that, but I got no problem with it. He's Matthew McConaughey. He still looks cool getting doused in the rain. Like, he still looks cool. And to let Woody Harrelson be the one to dog on him, I thought it was pretty clever.
Okay, I'm just asking.
Yeah. By the way, kids, True Detective season 1, if you haven't seen it, not bad. All right, Catch, buy or sell number 4. Bobby Brown is 56 today. Prime on Prime concert. You'd rather see My Prerogative Bobby than Prime New Edition.
Oh, bye. Yeah. No, man. When Bobby was in My Prerogative Bobby, those were like national outrages.
Yeah, that was the height of his power.
He was at the height of his power. The women were swooning in ways that felt, even today, lewd.
Yeah, right.
I mean, I'm just, but, I saw Bobby slight post My Prerogative Bobby. I saw him a few years later, and even then his powers were out of control. So,
Gotcha.
Yeah.
Okay. Fair enough. And finally, Catch, speaking of Mr. McConaughey, I have been I'm not done yet, but I am watching one of his rom-coms that I had not seen before, which brings us to buy or sell number 5. Prime on Prime, Jennifer Garner, hotter than Emma Stone.
No, sell, that's not even close. And I love Jennifer Garner. Jennifer Garner has my favorite. I know she's a good mom, and I still want to do naughty things with her vibe. Like I
see. That's interesting.
I know she's a good mom.
Because I was trying to think of a good
Graham's good mom.
I couldn't come up with an incredible comp, so I just went with somebody that's in the movie as well. I agree with you. I would
hotter than Emma Stone, but I love Jennifer Garner.
Yeah, I would go Emma Stone as well. I don't know who the perfect comp. What if I had said Jennifer Garner and like Hilary Swank? You go Garner then?
Yes.
Yeah, I think I might too. So I am powering my way through Ghosts of Girlfriends Past. I've never seen this movie.
I like that movie.
It's decent so far. It's decent so far. I am not appalled at this movie.
It's not an appalling movie.
Yeah, I'm feeling pretty good.
It's not a good movie, but it's not appalling.
Right. Yeah. I don't think it's not going to end up being some fantastic movie. It ain't Sleepless in Seattle, but it is what it is. Also Catch halfway through Landman. 5 episodes into Landman. I'm through the the family dinner, and episode 5. Got 5 episodes to go. All right, that's my 5, Catch. What do you got? You have an Ali Larder comment, I can tell.
There's never been an episode of television. It doesn't matter. It doesn't matter the show.
If you
give me a dinner scene, I know it's going down.
You and I always agreed on that. When I think of dinner scenes in television, I think of you, me, and Californication. That's what I think of. Because you and I, nobody that I know loved those scenes more than you and I did, because that's all we would talk about. We would start the episode discussion with, oh my God, the dinner. Let's talk about the dinner.
Pancake people come over for dinner. You know it's getting crunk.
Yep, absolutely.
Buy
right,
or
there's
sell
my five.
one. Bringing it back. Buy or sell number one. You don't trust Jalen Hurts this weekend in the Super Bowl.
That's interesting. I will sell that. It's not about like I'm picking the Chiefs, and it's more about the trust of them than it is distrust of Hurts. So I don't think he's going to get it done, but I don't know if it's a distrust of specifically him. I just think the Chiefs are going to be a little bit
that's
better.
what I'm asking you. Do you have a distrust of him?
So maybe it's a baby B buy. That if you're talking about a trust of his team winning, then I guess that's a buy, because I got the Chiefs close, like 20. I think it's like up into the 30s, like 31, 24, 30. I think it's over a 50 total, something like that. 30 something, 20 something. But I think the Chiefs are better. So, but I don't know if it's about the trust of him. I don't think that's where my focus is for why they won't win. I hope I'm
buy or sell.
I hope he's not trustworthy. I hope they get beat 48-0.
Buy or sell number two. When it comes to quarterbacks, Tom Brady is on his own level. But when it comes to trustworthiness in the Super Bowl, nobody else is in front of Mahomes at the quarterback position for you.
Sell. Montana. Every day of the week. You got a Super Bowl that needs to be dealt with? Montana. Montana not only has incredible performances, Montana has some absolute ass kickings of legends. Like, decisively beats Marino in a Super Bowl. Marino never comes back. Beat John Elway like a drum in a Super Bowl. He did things in Super Bowls that Brady has never done. He did things in Super Bowls that Mahomes has never done. Give me Joe.
Wow. Okay. I didn't know that's where you were going to go with that.
He's the best quarterback I've ever seen. Period. Any drive, anytime, big moment, put Joe out there. That's the one I want. Yeah.
Wow. I did not know that you stood on a table for Joe Montana like that.
Catch, I don't even let these people, all these people that try to do clearly Brady's. Nope. Stop. Don't do that. No, not clearly. Don't insult all the other quarterbacks, but especially don't insult Joe. We can't do that. And I'm a Cowboys fan. So obviously I watched it. I watched it real close, but I also know what I watched. And to me, he's the most badass Super Bowl quarterback I have ever seen. If you're just going to say, I can have anybody I want, it'd be Joe.
Buy or sell number three. You don't know when the date is that you're going to be comfortable watching the Lakers on national television with Luka, but it ain't now. Like, you don't know when your comfort zone is, but you know that right now the last thing in the world you want is for Lakers national television game, Luka wearing somebody else's emblem on his jersey.
Yeah, bye. At the minimum, Catch, it's going to be a year that starts with a 2, a 0, and a 3. Like, you're going to have to at least get me to 2030, and maybe the feelings will have gone away. A trade he wanted would be different. But I'm going to have to live the rest of my life as a Mavericks fan, knowing that he did not want to go. He just bought a badass mansion. He wanted to retire in blue and green and have his number thrown up there with Dirk. title or not. He was our guy. Are we going to play defense? Maybe, maybe not. We can live with that. We've lived with that for years. Is he going to win a title? I don't know. Maybe, maybe not. He got to the finals. Let's see what he can do. That's what it was supposed to be. That's what it was supposed to be. At least 2030. Maybe more like deathbed. You should. In fact, if you show me Luka as a Laker right before I die, that might push me over the edge. Yeah, it's going to be a while. It's going to be a while, Cat. It's going to be a while. It's going to be a while. I have a 40.
In case
you realize I have a 41, like exactly opposite from the corner that's behind me is a Dirk Nowitzki 41 jersey. At some point, I was probably going to add a 77 jersey, but I can't do it now. Sorry, go ahead.
buy or sell number 4, there's nothing that the Mavs can do now that could make it worse. Because that's what I've been trying. Like, what do they do with Anthony Davis? And I just wonder if Maverick fans even care.
Oh, man.
Like, try to win the trade.
Yeah, I mean, that's interesting. I guess I could say sell. They could turn around and trade Anthony Davis before tomorrow. And that, in a way, would that make it?
Because I haven't had anybody try to.
No, not really. I mean, it stands on its fate. It stands on its own merit, Catch. And Anthony Edwards nailed it. Nobody has explained this better than Anthony Edwards. When he just sat there and looked up, he's in his locker room. He's like, man, they traded like the leading scorer, all NBA guy. He's not even 25 yet. He just worked it through his head out loud. It took him 6.5 seconds. And it just crushed my soul. It was so simple. I'm like, damn it, nothing else matters. Nothing. There's nothing else matters than what he just said. Unless you caught that guy robbing a bank and using 6-year-olds to do it. There's nothing. It cannot be explained. And Edwards did a perfect job of captioning our sadness in less than 10 seconds.
And finally, buy or sell number 5. And if it officially feels worse to be a Mavericks fan than it does to be a Cowboys fan.
Oh, wow. I hadn't even put the bouillabaisse of sadness together in that realm yet. Somebody in the chat today was just saying, oh my God, the GMs in Dallas just don't know what they're doing. It's worse to be, I'm going to buy Catch because I've had a long time.
Oh God.
Because I've had a long time to get used to what it is to be a Cowboys fan. That's a separate discussion, being a Cowboys fan versus being a fan of those other teams, Rangers, Mavericks.
Because the whole point, though, is that you got to be a Mavs fan meant that was always your guy. Nobody else ever gets to claim you. That's our guy.
Right, exactly. That's the magic of what, even if Dirk had never won a title, Catch, he was our guy. He was our guy. Well, Chad, they just didn't get it done. I don't care. He's our guy. 41 is our guy, and he's going to the rafters, and he's coming back as an old man. He's ours. And the idea was that he was handing it off to Luka, and Luka was going to be the guy. That's the point. That's why it all makes sense. So the hope was there. See, I lost hope a long time ago as a Cowboys fan. You know this. Like, I don't get freaked out about the Cowboys. I haven't been truly sad about the Cowboys in years. Aaron Rodgers makes that throw. Yep, okay, whatever. Niners win those games? Sure. Dez and the catch, no catch. I didn't think they were getting anywhere near the Super Bowl that year. The Mavericks, with a team that I didn't even know if they were that good, went to the finals last year. The finals. And I'm thinking, hey, they keep cooking with Kyrie, try to get a little defense worked in. Do you find yourself a big man? No. Nico wakes up and goes, I got it. Hear me out. We're going to trade Luka. Like, no. Whatever follows the comma is stupid. Don't even do it. Don't even think it. See, I got so
team
messed
that once made a
up your
worse
video.
trade. I once am a fan of a team that made a worse trade, so I feel you.
Oh, dude, it's bad. It's bad. Did we get through 5? I'm sorry.
Yeah, man, I think we're good.
Okay. Somebody says time for me to have a Deep Eddy. Yeah, I feel like I could drink a whole bottle today. I should probably not do that. That Deep Eddy pineapple is going to sound pretty good, Tex guy, by the end of the week. All right, Catch, you good?
Yes.
All right. Thank y'all for liking and subscribing and getting those notifications. Football with Friends tonight at 6. We will do an Outsiders tonight at 8:30. Make our Super Bowl picks. We're going to pick spread, over, under, and then whatever 2 prop bets we want. You know, prize pick type of prop bets or coin flips or national anthems. We'll get into that, and you'll have a chance to win a free poncho shirt. So join us in the Outsiders tonight at 8:30, and then the Old Fashioned is tomorrow morning at 9. Thanks to over 600 of you that are in the Specs chat as we get ready to close up. We'll be back tomorrow for a Thursday edition of House Divided. Maybe I'll have dealt with the Luka thing by then. Probably